Hello everyone, welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, a blue dot and a red state utilizing tarot to offer insight into these very interesting times we have going on here in the United States. So I'm really glad that you're here and welcome. So this three-part series is going to be the energy readings that I do each month. So this first one is going to be looking specifically at the weeks of December 1st and December 8th. The other readings, and what I do is I just record these back to back. The week of the December 15th is actually kind of a bigger week, so I actually may have that be its standalone reading, and then put the 22nd and then the 29th with numerology together. I'm going to kind of see where that natural break is on those. And the reason I'm saying December 15th is a bigger week is that these are the things that I know are supposed to happen, which is the DOJ has the deadline of December 19th to release the files, the Epstein files. The other thing is that for those of us on ACA, we're supposed to have our premiums paid by December 15th for our coverage to continue on January 1st. So it's like my initial thought is they're not going to have it figured out by then. But that's one thing I specifically am going to look at whenever I do that week. It'll be the week of, and then I'm going to look at kind of those specific things in that reading, because I know that there's a lot of us really kind of concerned about, health insurance. And then, as I said, then I'll have that last week, numerology, any final message, that kind of thing. So anyway, this first reading that you guys are watching right now is going to be December 1st and the 8th. Just what do we need to know? And a reminder, what I'm doing is I'm reading on the energy, and I'm putting it into like a narrative of what I think it might be. Probably isn't, and I always say it's probably not going to be this, but that energy is going to be there. And just to recap for November, that first week I got like the Tower card, and it was like, that was the blue tsunami. Okay, things, that was that first week of November. And then the second week, there was an ending that came up, and I was hopeful that it would be, some health event, but it ended up being that the government shutdown ended. And then the last 2 weeks of November was just a lot of minor arcana, and it was kind of like this feeling of not a lot. I mean, there was a lot that happened, but not like, even as I say, not anything majorly explosive. I mean, I understand everything in this administration is horrible. And yes, I've seen the news. Yes, I have thoughts on things that have been happening recently that I will get into those probably either in the energy readings, or I'll be doing, specific readings looking at those things, right now that's going on. So anyway, without any further ado, let's go ahead and start with the energy of December 1st, this upcoming week that we are in right now. I just realized by the time you guys see this, it'll be Sunday, the last day of November. So let's look at the week of December 1st in the United States. What is it that we need to know? As always, this is for entertainment purposes only. What do we need to know about this first week of December 1st as it relates to our country? Okay, and for December 1st, and also I am using the Wiser Tarot for this. Okay, December 1st, the heart and center of this is moving forward. Okay, the Chariot card, moving forward. If this is going to be in the lower energy, just think of the wheels on the bus are coming off. Okay, that's what, in its higher energy, it could be, can Republicans and Democrats come together and, move this country forward in a positive way? Let me see what the rest of the cards are that come out here. And the challenge to this moving forward is battle weary. Looking back over past choices, past decisions, this is a card of life review. This is a card of what is it that we need to learn in order to take that next step. Okay, and that's the challenge here, is looking over past decisions. It could be past mistakes. What is it that we need to learn? This card is one of introspection, and it's growth in that you're looking back and you're looking over like what worked, what didn't work. It's one of more like assessment before you actually take that next step. Okay. So there is some, if I'm going to read this really snarky, it's like, okay, the coming to Jesus moment that you guys need to realize, what's going on, and use this in order to move forward. Okay, that's kind of what I'm seeing here with that. Let's see what else comes up. Our options in this. The Hierophant. And for numerology this month, this is our card for December, is the Hierophant. And I've always read this as the spirit of the institutions that make our country, the government. Think of, all the government agencies, our military, our the schools, the colleges, just all of those. I mean, it can't even include religious institutions, but I am going to, I've kind of started leaning towards, I wonder if this is more like the oaths of office. And the reason I said that is because now we have the congressional members and senators who have come out with that PSA, letting the military, reminding the military, do not obey an illegal order. So that's kind of where I was like, oh, I wonder if this is more about the oaths that have been taken. The Foundation, the Nine of Pentacles. I always see this as the wealthy woman. This is also a card of starting to see the rewards of your hard work. The Seven of Pentacles was plowing the field, and then the Eight was one of mastery and working. This is one is starting to see the rewards of that hard work. Okay, and that's our Foundation. Recent influences, walking away, going in a new direction. And the potential, something quickly happening. Okay, let me just kind of take a minute and look at this and see kind of what I'm feeling with this. Let's see. You guys, I'm really kind of getting like the more military vibes from this. And the reason I'm saying that is that this, like these together, this is one, the Chariot, and look, this is somebody who is dressed, like in the military uniform. And how are we going to be going forward? What is it that we're being asked to do? And remember, this is one of assessment. We are going to assess how we're moving forward. What is it that our oath, our oath is to the Constitution, not to the president. Okay. That's kind of coming up really strong here. And the reason I'm kind of going with military is that I've read this before as we're a wealthy country. This very well absolutely could be our country is the foundation of this. And this Eight of Cups moving in a new direction with, and actually even when I put this out, I was like messaging, and it was like, no, the first thing I thought of was that audio file that we heard of him saying, if I'm going down, I'm taking you all with me. I don't care what you have to do. Start a war. And I'm seeing this kind of like that messaging. This also could be like the missiles, coming out of the, that is coming out of the sky. So that's kind of, what I'm feeling with that. So if I'm looking at this, I think that this, with the PSA is that's not going away anytime soon. I think that this is going to be, expect more of our military really starting to question what it is that they're being asked to do. I'm not seeing, I really am feeling like it's more the messaging. Like we're going to start hearing more about these, the military and like what's actually going on, in the rank and file and that top brass right below what has been appointed. Okay, that's what I'm seeing with this. So real quick, I want to ask, because I know there's reporting now that Keg's Breath is kind of in trouble, that Trump is not very happy with Keg's Breath. So let's see. What is this going to be a revolt against, old Pete there? God, he's such an idiot. It's like you put these stupid people that have zero qualifications and then wonder why it's a damn circus. Okay. So is this going to be, what do we need to know about Keg's Breath this first week? Because this is kind of giving me feels of, they're really going to be we're going to start hearing more about how they are not going to obey these illegal orders. And yeah, weighing options. And here's these ships. The ships on the water and weighing our options. What do we do? And I was asking about Keg's Breath there. Once again, the patience going back and forth, decisions, and something being blocked. I don't think they're going to, is he actually going to try to start a war there in Venezuela? And they're going to say, we're not doing that. I mean, that's kind of the feeling I'm getting is like, what evidence do we have? Show us the evidence. We're not going to do this based on your feelings. And no, we're not doing it. And there's all the water here. And so, yeah, I think that this is going to be something with the Venezuelan boats and action that that the military are being asked to take. Is this going to be the Venezuela boats? Orders given by a madman, bully wand, and here's your evidence. I'm just not seeing that it's more like we're telling you about the evidence rather than actually showing the evidence. Okay, so I think that for this first week, expect there to be more about there's more about the military, there's more about those oaths of office, more about that PSA. We're going to be hearing, I'm just feeling like there's more. I don't know that we're actually getting to the point where they don't obey the illegal order, but it's like I see like the leading up to it, because there's really not a lot of action here. There's we told you what the evidence was, but they're like, but we don't see the evidence. We're not going to do this just based on what you feel, on your feelings. We actually have to have the evidence that these boats are actually drug boats. And even if they were drug boats, we don't bomb them. We go and arrest them. That's what we do. And so I think that this really is like, no, we're not good, because I took this to be messaging. It can also be, the missiles that they're wanting the military to use. And our oath of office is coming up here. It's the very thing. The top of this was our, the options was looking at what our oath is. What are we going to do with those oaths? So that's kind of the feeling of what I'm getting for the first week. Expect probably more of that. There wasn't anything really here about an investigation. I mean, I know that's going to go forward to some degree, and I love that. There was a quote from Mark Kelly saying they're going to use the military code in order to prosecute us for reading the military code. I mean, Keck's President, just an absolute idiot. So I'm just sitting here with it going, it's more bluster. I do think that there's like the bluster that's happening like in public, but then behind the scenes is kind of like, I'm feeling like this duality, which I mean, we got actually with the Two of Pentacles and that Two of Swords, that duality of, I think that there's pressure happening behind the scenes for our military. Like there's discussions of, if they ask us to do this, like what the hell are we going to do? So that's kind of, I'm not feeling any big action. I feel a lot of that bully wand is more what a lot of bark and no bite. That's what I'm feeling. So let's go on and look at the week of December 8th. And as I said, I'm feeling like December 1st is going to be more about that, about the military, their oaths, and the Venezuelan boats. That's kind of what I'm feeling is that's going to be. So December 8th, what do we need to know about the week of December 8th in the United States? Okay, I just want to make sure I can kind of get these shuffled really well. So the week of December 8th. Sometimes these cards shuffle really well, and then sometimes they just don't. Okay, so the week of December 8th. You can tell I absolutely do not stack the deck. These cards are kind of a mess right now. Okay, as I'm trying to get them shuffled. December 8th. One more. There we go. Okay. And with that same battle weary, the fatigue, and boy, are we not, I mean, if this is not how we're all feeling, it's like the fatigue of just, can it just stop? And remember, the card that comes after this is that Ten of Wands, and it's the burden card. And so this is going to be like all the ways that this administration is nothing but a burden. And crossing that, our options are, how are we going to work through this? How are we going to get through this mess? This is also a card of mastery, but we're not quite there yet. And in that first round of December 1st, we had this, remember I said the 7 was the planting the seeds. This is working on that mastery, working on, if we're going to use the garden as the example here, this is going to be tending to the garden. And then that 9 is starting to see the rewards of the garden. Okay, so this is looking over our past, what has happened. And by past, I'm feeling like this is more like what this administration has done and what work do we need to do to get through this, past this. Okay. And the options coming in, Queen of Cups. How do we take care of people? I've also seen this as, in some of those health readings, I've been seeing this as palliative care. So our options, Queen of Cups. Queens are going to be, they're more of the caregivers, the nurturers, and then you've got the cups and emotions. So I always say this is kind of like the super caregiver type card. Okay. The Foundation, Knight of Cups. Something being offered. Knights are changes. Cups is the emotions. So changes in emotions. Is it going to be the higher emotions or the lower emotions? Let's keep going and see. In the past, weighing options, going back and forth. And then the Wheel of Fortune. And this is also the Karma card. So let's see here. Let me just kind of take a minute here. With this, and these are, okay, so this is the week of December 8th. The only major arcana card here is that Wheel of Fortune, and with the Karma card, and in my Morgan Greer deck, this is the one that's got the people on top. And so I was doing some reading, and the card came up, and it came up upside down, and it was like the wheel was just really kind of crushing the because the oligarchs are up here, and if you look at it, if it's upside down, the wheel is now turning on them. So that's why I call it the Karma card. So let's see. What do we want? She's looking over here at options, changes. As I'm looking at this, what I'm feeling is I'm wondering if this isn't going to be some kind of Democrats and Republicans coming together to make decisions to how are we going to go forward? How are we going to take care of the American people? This very well could be healthcare. This could be they're trying to put those final touches on healthcare. Because this is the how do we care for people. And in some of the Trump health readings, I actually got this as palliative care. And then the positive changes, emotions, this is going to be the offering of healthcare. So, and how are we going to go forward? And also the money on this. So is this let me just ask, is this healthcare? Are we going to get some kind of movement on our healthcare for the week of December 8th? Okay, in December 8th, the Justice card, something, a just cause, something that, a just cause. And taking care of insurance would absolutely be under that. The happy home and working on something. I think that this is going to be something more movement related to our health insurance. Sorry, excuse me, I needed to get a drink. So let me just ask, what is this Justice card? What do we need to know about the Justice card? Decisions being made, something being offered, and I've read this about, the people being left out in the cold. They need to hurry the hell up because people are needing to, these were the cards that flipped out. So I was looking at that. I don't know that they have a deal that they're passing yet, but it's like they're getting close to that. So if this is healthcare, they're getting close to some kind of deal for that week of December 8th. I wouldn't be surprised. With this justice card, I'm wondering if we're not going to get some Supreme Court stuff. I mean, those tariffs, that'd be great if they came out with that. So let me just, are we going to get some DOJ stuff coming out on that week of December 8th? I would be shocked if it was the tariff thing, just because, I would expect them to take forever on that. And December 8th, something being hidden, something beneath the surface, something being offered that they're not happy about. I was asking about Supreme Court. And then messaging. It would not surprise me if we don't have something Supreme Court related the week of December 8th. I also think that they're going to be moving towards some kind of something for the health insurance. I don't know that it's going to pass that week of the 8th because we have to have those premiums paid by the 15th. And so they will wait until the last minute like they always do, keeping us waiting for that. So that's kind of these first 2 weeks. What I'm feeling with that after, doing the cards here is, there's going to be more about the military, more about the Venezuelan boats, more about what the military is being asked to do. Now, I am aware of the shooting in D.C. of the military, of the National Guard. I will be doing that reading, and I don't want to comment a lot about it right now because I have definite thoughts. And actually, I will say this right now. I am seeing a pattern of when things don't go Donald Trump's way, there always seems to be some tragedy that follows. And then they use that tragedy as justification for doing something horrendous. So I will leave that at that and say that is something I'm going to be looking into in a reading coming up very soon. And so I'm kind of expecting, that's kind of what I'm seeing for that first week is something along those lines of the military and how the military is being misused by this administration. And there's going to be a lot of discussion on exactly what it is our military is being asked to do, not only in Venezuela, but also on the homeland here. The second week, it looks like there's going to be actually some movement on the, it's like offering something. That Queen of Cups is what is making me think this is something to do with health insurance, but there's something that that Congress needs to pass that is going to be something about taking care of people. Okay, so that's why I'm saying health insurance. And, Donald Trump has wanted to extend the ACA subsidies. The Republicans are like, oh, hell no, not after what you said and did. And we had this whole big shutdown over this, and now you're going to throw us under the bus. So the Republicans aren't having that. But I don't know what other options they have other than just not do anything. I mean, that's a choice. That'd be one hell of a choice just to have people, what was it, how many millions of people would be without health insurance. So, yeah, I think health insurance is going to be a big topic this month, as well as our military. So, yeah, with all that being said, that's kind of what the first 2 weeks of December are looking like. So I really appreciate you joining me. Tomorrow we'll have the part 2 come out. I'm going to see kind of how week of 15 goes, and then we'll see if I, pull the 22nd into that as well. So I really appreciate you joining me. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and really, I always say that at the end, but it really does help to grow my channel. It helps YouTube to know that, people like this, and I'm trying to grow the channel. So I really do appreciate, all the help that you guys give me in helping to grow my channel. So thank you very much, and I will catch you on the next reading. Have a good day.